humans who claim their wrath as a virtue. Christian communities justify anger when it serves to correct morals. St. Augustine said anger should be directed at a sin, not the sinner. For autonomists like Hume, anger can be a source of morality when it is exercised as the disapproval of someone else's vice. Rousseau turned anger at social injustice into a virtue. Is it still possible in our lifetime to avoid, control, redirect, or manage anger? Have we entered a new phase of anger's history in which the threatened loss of our identity, political, national, ethnic, religious, demands universal resentment? And must the expression of resentment always be outbursts of anger, unreflective, self-justifying? Perhaps. But Barbara Rosenwein's book holds out the promise that knowing more about our emotional and ethical past will make it possible for us to navigate our emotional, ethical, and political lives in the present with greater insight and, we can hope, with better outcomes. Introduction. Homer's Iliad begins with an order to the muse. Anger, O goddess, sing the anger of Achilles. In a way, then, anger is the first word in the written literature of the West. Is the Iliad the place to start a book on the topic? Many modern commentators think so. Indeed, Emily Katz-Anhalt asserts that we need to read Greek myths like the Iliad precisely to overcome our own angry predilections. Homer's depiction of the horrors that flow from the anger of Achilles will teach us to resist the violent times in which we live. But Achilles' anger, however useful to study, was not the same as ours. It was not even the same as all ancient Greek anger, for which there were at least two words, two meanings, and thus, presumably, two sensations. Our own anger is a product of history. Potentially, it does include the sort of anger Homer sang about, but it embraces as well numerous other traditions of feeling, some of the most important of which are covered in this book. That is why I prefer not to start with the Iliad. I'd rather begin with my own story and then look back. When I was about 3 years old, I had a beloved rubber baby doll. It could swallow water, then dribble and pee. Endlessly fascinating. I loved that doll fiercely. But I would also hide behind the living room sofa and beat it soundly, pummeling it with my fists. I clearly remember the turning point. I heard my mother say to a visitor, "That girl has a lot of anger in her." I knew she was talking about me. I stopped. I was ashamed. What was this anger I had a lot of? I had plenty of models of anger in my childhood, though not for what I was doing to that poor doll. No one but she was beaten up in my house. But my parents fought a lot, making for many other times when I and my sister hid behind the sofa. Apart from arguing, my father fumed about his job and his boss. My mother, meanwhile, a budding artist, listened to her mother and my father, who told her she should not have a profession, she should stay at home and take care of the kids. She bickered every day with her mother, not just about that, over the telephone. She was angry when she did housework, which she detested. And since, nevertheless, she spent every day dusting the furniture, she was almost always angry. It would be easy to say that I had a lot of anger in me because I saw and experienced it everywhere around me. I could even explain away the times when I get angry today by blaming my childhood experiences. Most of us do that, at least occasionally, holding our parents largely responsible for who we are. Then again, I might not want to reproach my parents, but rather argue that I had lots of anger because people are born with lots of anger. It's a hardwired, universal emotion, present in primates, useful for survival, separate from reason, and passed along to human beings in their DNA. These are insights into my anger, and probably yours as well, but they are inadequate. Let's tackle the DNA argument first, because if it's true, if we are programmed to feel anger, then we need to know nothing more.